Enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Hey, yo.
My life, my money, my legacy.
Bobby Lashley remains dominant, is still WWE champion. Welcome, everyone, to the Wrestling Never Sleeps podcast. I am your boy, Jared Never Sleeps, with my very, very handsome co-host, Mr. Adam Anthony James Martin, the straight shoot in a suit. I nailed it this week. Adam, how you doing?
Thank you very much, sir, for that nice intro. I'm doing pretty good. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. A lot of wrestling, like always. A lot of good stuff, maybe a little bit of bad stuff.
Yeah, I could agree to that. I think my weekend went pretty much the same way. A lot of wrestling, just a lot of hanging out. I'm in Ontario, of course, so we're kind of still in this middle stage of not knowing what we can and cannot do out and about. So most of my days, instead of getting in trouble in my neighborhood, I watch a lot of wrestling.
Thank God for streaming services. So welcome, everybody. We are talking tonight about the Monday Night Raw from Monday, March 8th, 2021. So this episode started off with it led into a match between The Miz and Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship. We were talking off air about The Miz had a pretty good promo to start this show off.
Oh yes. He went on a tear again with the microphone. He pretty much was basically saying, "Hey, what haven't I done for you guys? Why have I been treated so misfairly treated?
Yeah.
Why am I being disrespected? I've earned everything that I've gotten. I've deserved this championship, And then he felt like he was mistreated. He wasn't given a fair chance. He did defend his belt.
Yeah, he played by the rule. He kind of had a point
he
there.
Lost, but he retained it.
He has a championship advantage. He's allowed to do that. Like he can win out if he wants to.
That's using the Miz's brain, and I like that. But then they forced him obviously to have the second match, and if he didn't take part in that second match, he was stripped of his WWE championship. Unfair, unjust. But my own opinion. And then obviously we know the result of Bobby Lashley just dominating that match, being crowned the new WWE champion last week. And then
I felt kind of a little bad for the guy. He was kind of like he said, he's done everything for this company. He does PR, he does calls. If you ask him at 5 a.m, he travels around, and it was just kind of like he had a lot of points, especially with the and we'll get to the Shane McMahon stuff later on. But it seemed like a little bit babyface to me. But nonetheless, we know what happens, within the match with Lashley and Miz. I don't think anyone was expecting the Miz to beat Bobby Lashley in the opening segment of Monday Night Raw for the WWE Championship.
No, not at all. And do you think maybe this might be a little break for the Miz now that he's, lost his championship, and then again, he couldn't get it back. And again, even though this match went a little bit longer, he lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
He had a little more of a bit of an offensive momentum there, but still nothing really seemed like it was affecting Lashley throughout the whole match. And Lashley was just pushing through no matter what the Miz threw at him. So do you think the Miz, after tapping out twice to Lashley and losing his title and then not getting it back, kind of gives us the hint that maybe he's ready to take time away from the business and focus on more personal things with his family, his wife, his children, and everything else that he has going on with the Miz and Mrs. and everything else on the side on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the hardest working WWE superstars I know. He's got his hand in a whole bunch of stuff. But I think that Bad Bunny thing is looming. And I was on a Clubhouse before. I was talking to a couple other fans, and I thought it would have been pretty cool. Like maybe they could have teased that Bad Bunny kind of costs, or maybe in Miz's mind, Bad Bunny cost Miz the WWE title. So then that can kind of give Bad Bunny and the Miz something to do at WrestleMania. You still gonna put keep the title on Bobby Lashley and everything. But I understand why that they had this match, the opening of the show. Like I think the last 2-3 weeks, they've really tried to invest in the beginning of the show and make it good and make it where you want to maybe watch the whole rest of the 3 hours of wrestling. So I get why, to keep us hooked. So I get why they had this the WWE Championship on Raw first segment, but we all knew what was going to happen. So I was hoping that something would come of it. But I can see it. Miz loves wrestling. He's been a fan for his whole life. It's his lifelong dream to be WWE superstar. I see him continuing to stay in the mix every single week, and I expect them to develop something for him to do against Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. That's the
You would
only way
think
it
at
can go.
least have them as part of WrestleMania. At least give him that much, right?
He
Have
he,
something
he
solid
deserves
booked
that.
for him, or at
Yeah.
least entertaining enough.
He's been a good sport. I mean, he was the WWE champion for like a week or so. Or was it a week? It was a week, right? And then he lost it.
He
I think he was the champion for like a week, and
a
he
week,
lost it.
yeah, because
Yeah,
he had a time limit to give Lashley the answer, and then he didn't
yeah,
that
right.
first week.
Man, they've been really
Yeah.
stringing us along. This is a slow road to WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
That was 2 weeks worth of story. Like, yeah.
No,
So
but overall, we knew exactly what was going to happen.
and I love Bobby Lashley's like new pyro and his new looks like it's a new entrance and stuff with like the kind of video package.
Yeah,
It's really cool stuff.
I was going to say it kind of makes you really believe, that this man's coming out there. Like we all know he's coming out there to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to
Yeah.
decimate whoever's in the ring with him. But with that intro, the production behind it, and everything like that, just kind of adds a little oomph to his character, himself, and the position that he's in right now, which I like. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think it's what's really exciting for fans, people who watch religiously, is for WrestleMania. We don't know what's gonna happen. It could be Lashley versus Brock. It could be Lashley versus Drew. It could be Drew versus. We don't know what the heck's gonna happen. So a lot of times WWE kind of projects what they're gonna do when it's really telegraphed. But now it's kind of like no. I don't think anyone wants to see Bobby Lashley lose the title. But I think there's also a lot of fans that feel for Drew and respect Drew and what he's been doing this whole year during the health crisis and stuff, and they want to see him get his title back, but they don't want to see Lashley lose. So it's a cool little dynamic right now.
It is
A lot of
cool,
people
yeah.
excited
It's
about.
kind of 50-50, it seems. Like you said, the remorse factor and the sympathy factor for Drew carrying the company and that championship, keeping its value up high, which is very important. Because if Lashley just won it right now, it wouldn't mean that much.
Yeah.
Unless Drew built it up to that point to make it mean that much. And he did so with no audience, no crowd during the whole pandemic, like you said. And he was a company guy, and he carried through, and he did a really, really, really good job. On the other hand, you have a guy that, has a long backstory, has been everywhere else, including WWE previously, returning back, retransferring himself, picking up his
Change his
game,
whole body, like change his
everything.
entire how he looks. Like,
And teaming up with MVP, the Hurt Business, this whole thing, it just works for him, and it's the best thing that he's probably ever done in his whole entire career. I can't speak for him personally, but I think he would agree with us on that. I think if you agree with me on that as well, a lot of the stuff that he's done in other companies and stuff was great, but I don't think it gets any bigger and better than WWE, obviously, being the granddaddy of them all.
yeah,
And now he's going to be headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I think and maybe we go to, maybe the main event will be Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. I think that has the opportunity to be a complete barn burner, and that both competitors look better coming out of that match than they did coming into that match. I can even see like a great 20-25 minute barn burner where at the end they're hugging like out of respect or shaking their hands out of respect. And speaking of barn burners, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus week number 2.
Yes.
They're putting on pay-per-view level matches on free TV. What were your thoughts on this match?
I agree 100%. When they put this match together, I was like, oh, all right. Now you set the hook with the title match at the beginning, and now you've got me in your bait trap. You got me in the boat with this second match. And again, like you said, pay-per-view caliber level of a match. Two guys with another backstory. Great chemistry. The hard smash mouth style, I can't get enough of.
It's so good.
They're working stiff out there, which is great to see.
Yeah.
They're not throwing the phony, punches and clotheslines, and they're not botching anything out there.
Yeah.
The two professionals,
They're
two
going
guys
at
that
it.
work so well together. And again, like you said, the caliber of the match, should have been on a pay-per-view. And maybe that's kind of like what you mentioned off air, that maybe that's what they're leading up to. Especially with the finish of this match. It was a little confusing to me at first.
Yeah.
But you did put a little light on the situation saying, hey, I think for some reason I forgot that Raw, Fastlane, maybe it was a SmackDown, I don't know. But as soon as you said that, I was like, okay, I can see where they're going with this now.
Yeah,
So
I could definitely see like a last man standing coming out of this. It goes as like a they both got counted out or whatever, or what is it called? No contest.
Yes.
Yeah, but like you said, you hit the nail right on the head. That Smash Mouth style, like very stiff. Like you got these two giant 6'5", 6'6", 250-pound guys. He's going at it. You don't really get to see that in this era of wrestling today. Like actual grown men fighting. And no slight of AEW or NXT, but kind of. But yeah, even how the match was set up, like Drew McIntyre's backstage minding his own business, and he's about to cut a promo because he's watching the Bobby Lashley Miz thing going on. He wants his belt back and he wants to be back in the title picture. And then here comes Sheamus out of nowhere, clock. It just clocks him, and then you start this no DQ match, which was great. And I know you didn't really like the last spot where they took the stairs and for some reason put it on their heads, like the blockheads from Gumby, and just ran into each other like rams. Yeah, that was yeah, really stupid. But I guess that's how they have to get to like the whole they're knocking each other out. Or they could have just won bro kicks and won Claymore kicks at the same time, and it both knocked out outside instead of them being like, let me grab this thing and run at somebody. That could have worked too.
And it could have looked better, but just the way that they did it, like
it's stupid.
I don't want to put it down, but at the same time, you can't really help but look at that whole segment of them running into each other, and then with a 2-second delay, you see Drew McIntyre flip over the guardrail like 2 to 3 seconds later.
That's gonna be on WrestleMatch. The Supercell Sunday. He hits him, and then he flips over the guardrail. That was great.
And next thing you know, they're both. And the ref, props to the ref for going out and checking on and asking Drew.
Yeah,
then flipping back over inside and asking Sheamus. And
yeah,
neither of them really acknowledged the ref at that point in time, because I think if they had, they would have just ruined the whole ending completely.
Yeah.
So props to both of those guys for not acknowledging the ref, even though they kind of, gimmick their ending a little bit.
Yeah.
What did you think of the weapons in general, though? I know it was a no DQ match, but do you think the candlestick and the chair kind of fair played in this? I'm not really one for gimmicks unless it's, building something, which I think this did. And they didn't overutilize or take advantage of having those weapons or gimmicks in the ring. What do you think?
I think in this situation it worked because those guys have that relationship. Like this is kind of a blood feud. They were friends for 20 years, and then Sheamus just really turned his back on him because of a title. So in this case, the weapons I think were good, and it added another just element, because we can't have the same exact match from last week, although it was very good. Just to add the weapons, they added like the no DQ storyline to it. Just to add that little extra variation was good in my opinion, because like I said, you can't continue to have the same match. So the candlesticks, the fact that these guys are two giant grown men just having a fight, very believable in my opinion. I think I have to say I for sure liked it.
What was that? Sorry?
I said I have to say that I liked it, and I think that I think I said this last week as well. There's got to be some type of chip on Drew McIntyre's shoulder that he carried the WWE this whole pandemic era, and then you want to give the belt to Lashley. And I'm sure Drew McIntyre goes on Instagram and Twitter and goes in the dirt sheets and sees that, oh, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. I want to see Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So in his mind, he's probably thinking like, I want to put on great matches. And then Sheamus is kind of like an afterthought. He was a Royal Rumble champion, Royal Rumble winner. He was a WWE champion, I think, twice. And then he, for many years, has been just completely overlooked. So the fact that he gets to work with one of his real life close best friends, and they get to put on these great matches, I feel like they want to turn it up and just let people know like, hey, we're still here. We can do this.
We're still legit. We're top of the mountain still. We're top players in the game still. No need to overlook us. And you could hear Drew McIntyre's passion and his genuine feeling towards the whole situation come out in his promo before getting jumped by Sheamus and before the no DQ match itself.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see too. And again, Sheamus holding him down with his forearm, grinding it in his face and just punking him out right there, saying, hey man, this isn't over. You can keep on coming at me. You can try to put me away, but I'm keep on coming no matter what.
Yeah.
And,
and wrestling is very, obviously it's fake, quote unquote, it's predetermined, but there's realness when you're the top of the company. When you're the WWE champion, it means you're the WWE champion. That means you're the top dog. That means you get top billing. You get the nice paydays. You get all the marketing and everything like that. So that stuff matters. So don't anyone think that Drew McIntyre likes his position right now. He wants to be at the top, and we're seeing it in his work. He is proving that he deserves to be in the main event card, the upper main level of WrestleMania and of the card, and Sheamus deserves it as well. They're definitely putting on.
Yeah, both guys. It's hard to do with so limited spots and that kind of talent. On your rosters and stuff like that. We say that there's not enough big stars, but when you think about it, like guys like AJ, Orton, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley now has been really elevated. There's a few other names out there, and I don't mean to discredit anybody by not naming them as a top player, but
there's just so many
you
names.
have a lot of talent on that roster, and you only have a certain amount of spots on the head card of WrestleMania. So where do you really, I think in their mind, for some people, it's like, okay, I'm just glad I got to WrestleMania. I'm glad to be a part of this weekend, this whole, vibe. And then there's the other guys, like you said, the guys that, think about being on the top.
Yeah. Some people are happy in catering, and some people are like, no, I want to be at the top. And I think Drew's one of those guys that wants to be at the top. He's worked hard. He's even the way he looks from like his 3MB days. This guy's night and day.
Yeah. It's day and night.
And next thing I would like to talk about is my two buddies, good old Shane O'Mac and Braun Strowman. This segment was probably the longest 5 minutes of Raw history. When Shane comes to the ring and he's like, hey, Braun, I have something to tell you. Like, nope, he steps back and says, oh, I don't want to talk to you about this out here. And then he goes on the stage a little bit further. He walks across and he's like, hey, actually, some people might call you stupid, but I don't want to call you that. I don't like that word stupid. And then he's like, actually, the word I want to describe you as is stupid is a stupid dumb. And it's like, well, you just called him stupid. So then
I think Shane legit lost his train of thought and where he wanted to go with this promo.
Yeah.
And that's why the stall and the delay and the pause. And then he kind of took it into a different direction, which kind of brought it back on track. But at the same time, by then, like you said, I was half asleep before we got to the main gist of what was going on. And I still didn't quite figure out what was going on throughout this promo, other than we know or can assume, they're building this up for a WrestleMania match or Fastlane.
These are a few of the things that I hate. Shane McMahon booking and Braun Strowman booking. It's like, why are they feuding? You guys destroyed Braun Strowman, and then again the historical, unbelievable strong booking of Shane McMahon. Why would the boss's 50-something-year-old son be fighting this? They call him the monster amongst men. Why is he fighting with a corporate executive? Does that make any sense?
No,
explain that to me.
Around where Braun's feeling underutilized or not giving enough opportunity. I don't like it.
So he fights Shane McMahon. Like, just go and like Goldberg had no problem walking in and being like, "Hey, Drew McIntyre, I want to fight you," and Drew, he got it. So why can't Braun Strowman be like, "Hey, I want to fight Drew McIntyre"? Charlotte does it. Charlotte went on TV last week like, "I want to fight Asuka now."
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting one. I don't like it particularly. Shane, I think at his time and age, it's a little past his prime. For me, I had fun watching him in the Attitude Era. Falling off of the Titantron or going through, doing the Van Terminator to his dad. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you don't put Shane McMahon in a wrestling match or or a WrestleMania moment with a guy like Braun Strowman or anyone that's legit on that roster. You put him up against a guy like Vince McMahon or someone that's not normally a wrestler.
Shane versus Bad Bunny, no problem. I don't have an issue with that. Shane versus the guys from Saturday Night Live, Michael Che.
Shane and Pierce.
Shane and Pierce, cool, no problem. But man,
conflict.
What did Braun Strowman do so
This is
wrong?
my show. You know, you go home, do your thing. You left. I'm in charge here. I don't need you to keep on, telling me what to do. It's my show.
Yeah.
Why can't that be a thing? But no, they got to use Braun Strowman because they have nothing written for him. They have no way to use him now because they buried him, like you said before. And now he's kind of in a tough situation where you kind of want him to go really badass heel and just destroy everybody and just go on a rampage. But
yeah,
what's he do from there?
It's ruined for me. And then they do the thing where it actually tricks the audience. We all thought we saw Shane McMahon getting that SUV, but he didn't. Yes. And then Braun Strowman he comes backstage and he looks and he sees the car pull off. And then Braun Strowman walks into this red abyss for some reason. Was he at a meeting with the Fiend? Maybe, I don't know. And then Shane comes up behind him, and is like, "Ha ha ha! You're stupid for thinking I got into an SUV, but I didn't." LOL.
Calls him stupid. So everything you said before just kind of. I can see what they're kind of trying to do, so I'm not gonna shit on it too much.
Yeah,
but it was pretty shitty.
Yeah, I guess I'm biased because I just don't. I historically I don't like how Shane McMahon is booked. I like his character, but the in-ring stuff and the fact that he's going against competitors, people who've been there for years, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I love Braun.
WWE champions and just like Universal champion. Whatever.
Match with AJ Styles, Undertaker at WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that
was the second time on the event too. So like, at least they didn't bring him out 3 times like the week before. I think.
Yeah.
They had him out 3 times. So this time it was only 2. So they're getting better at that. I think.
Right.
If he would have just remembered the first time, he wouldn't have had to do the whole second thing. He could have just done it in one take. But
yeah, it could have been one shot. Yeah. So next up, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this match, but I thought it was really it really showcased this particular superstar, Matt Riddle, against what was it, Slapjack or T-Bar? I can't remember.
Slapjack.
It was Slapjack, yes.
Your boys in Retribution.
Interchangeable Retribution names. Yeah. So we had Matt Riddle versus Slapjack. Matt Riddle has definitely grown on me. His in-ring stuff is just okay. I see where
phenomenal.
I see where you're going.
That intro of that match is so fast-paced and so hard-hitting and so impactful, and just you just believe in him. Like you can't help it. I remember even before I think it was before the first episode of our first podcast, you were talking about
way back when, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. 3 weeks ago. You were talking about how you weren't liking his gimmick, like his character and, his in-ring. And I don't know if it had any effect on it, but I kind of just, from personally knowing him for a little bit, in the past and stuff, and kind of saying, hey, that's actually who he is. Like, this just kind of who he is, but his in-ring ability, he is that killer. And then next thing you know, becomes U.S. champion. He got shammed by Ali last week to set up the title match for next week, but then he came out. And like I said, the intro of this match.
Yeah, he can go.
Jeez. And Slapjack, to his credit, was keeping up fairly well.
Yeah.
That beautiful drop kick, that Bob Holly drop kick that you don't see from anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, right on the money.
He started ticking and stuff. He started doing I don't know what he's on.
He must have got the vaccine.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's burying the vaccine, people. But yeah, kudos to Matt Striker. He's growing for him. I'm sorry, Matt. You are the man. You are my bro now.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing Matt Striker. I call him Matt Striker. Matt Riddle, awesome striker. What's up? How would
you feel about being Slapjack and having Ali nonstop the whole match? Beak, 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 beak. And then after the match, after you lose, after you do his bidding, after you soften up the opponent for you next week, he's out there just chastising him in front of the announcer booth. He's fed up. He's pissed off still at these guys. Like, what does he need to do to straighten these guys up, or maybe even ship them out? Do you think that's
so? Is this a situation that becomes kind of like a mutiny, where like Retribution's like, hey, we're tired of this, and then they turn on Ali, and they're like baby faces now, and they're kind of like, I just picture that if that go that way, it's gonna be like the oddities. Remember the oddities from like their Attitude Era?
Giant Silva and
Yeah,
Golda.
I see them being like a gimmick like comedy babyface team of Retribution because they still have the mask and stuff.
If you were to compare it to anyone right now, currently, who would you compare that to? Because I can think of
Compare who?
I can think of one faction right now that's very similar to that. If it went that route.
In WWE?
No.
Oh, so you're talking about the Dark Order?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Dark Order.
Yes. Very similar.
Yeah, Dark Order.
I can see that.
I've a lot to say about Dark Order. I'm gonna save that for our AEW Revolution show. Make sure you guys check that out on our channel. I'll post it, and at the end of this video, our AEW Revolution video will be up. And next up, another match I don't want to spend too much time on, but I gotta talk about my man Reginald.
Yes.
Reginald is back, but now he's on Raw, and he's with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler because Nia Jax thinks Reginald is cute. So he got Reginald in the corner of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and this is a Raw Tag Team Championship. Lana and Naomi have a shot at it, but we know they're not going to win because they have a match with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. So Reginald is back. Okay, I'm just trying to be positive here, but where the hell are we going with this Reginald thing on International Women's Day at that?
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on that one, eh?
Yeah, how dare he?
But Reginald kind of seems like Nia Jax is smitten, as they say, with Reginald, and Reginald's a weasel. Yeah. So he weaseled his way onto another show, got himself another job, charmed his way into another opportunity or position of opportunity. And apparently, according to Nia Jax, he's got the sweet, sweet wine. So why not bring him over?
And she's not like most girls, according to her theme song.
She's not like most girls, and he's not like most guys.
Yeah, he's not like most Somalis on WWE television. But yeah, I mean, I'll give credit to the actor. He's killing it as far as like the person. It's just the storylines is kind of hindering him. I don't know how they actually would use him any other way, but I'm sure they still want to use him
in ring again.
What's that?
Unless he like started going more in ring.
Yeah, with the foots and stuff, and he's athletic.
He's athletic, yeah, exactly. He can take a bump too. So,
and you have to end that Nia Jax is carrying him out like a little baby. Yeah. Comedy. Next up, we have we cut to the main event. We had Randy Orton and AJ Styles with Omos, and the main event of Raw. I kind of I liked this match until the end.
I think I'm with you on that one. I love before we get into the match itself, I love the promo, the package video. I messaged you, you know, that explained, you know, the backstory between Randy Orton, The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss heading to this match. And this is why AJ's, you know, basically trolling him on national television, saying, hey man, like if you want bigger problems, looking at Omos, you know, we can give you one in this match. And the caliber of this match, again, another pay-per-view quality match.
Yeah.
Like these guys could easily headline a WrestleMania. Like,
have they fought a WrestleMania? I think that one year they did it, didn't they? I think they did.
Did they headline?
They didn't headline, no. It was probably like Triple H versus, I don't know, Roman or something.
Yeah.
But
Triple H versus Michaels or something,
Yeah.
No, but yeah, great match. Again, another smash mouth. Randy Orton coming out very aggressive, taking the words that AJ said earlier in the night very offensively and very personal about being weak. Did not like that whatsoever. And he basically showed AJ, hey, I'm no one's bitch. I'm still Randy Orton. I'm still the Viper. And, you know, and Randy Orton's right. No one likes him in the back. Someone referred to, you know, him or people in the back being concerned about his mental health and stuff like that going into this match. But he's exactly what I just said he is. And that's why no one likes him. Because he only looks out for himself, and he takes advantage of situations. And he did a really good job in this match. And again, like you said, with the AJ, always phenomenal, no pun intended. But with the ending, I think even with the ending, even though I'm not a big fan of what we're like, I love the video package.
Yeah.
But I'm not like what we're seeing live on television.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think Orton's doing his best. Obviously, he's more than professional enough to do it. He's more than experienced to do it. He's been doing it this whole time with Bray Wyatt, which has its waves of ups and downs, and sensible moments and non-sensible moments. But I think for what he's given and how he's doing it, between him and Bliss, the chemistry there.
Bliss she's a professional. She's good
works.
at this. She's very, I'll give her that. The acting of Alexa Bliss, she's always been really great on the mics as well. I always thought like it'd be great when she was injured. They could have just paired her with Asuka and let her talk for Asuka. That'd been awesome because I love Asuka. But I guess if you're into that mythical stuff, then the video package is awesome. The presentation of how Randy Orton sold the black goo and stuff, and how Alexa was on the Titantron. Yeah, that's all good stuff. They've really been dragging this Fiend Randy Orton feud out for a while, but I guess Fiend's got to be pretty mad since he got burnt to death 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think he'd be really pissed.
Probably really angry. He's probably really hot. You see what I did there?
Oh, yes, he couldn't get more heated.
Yeah, real backstage heat.
But I think they're obviously building towards something with that.
WrestleMania
I don't
match.
think they should waste their fast lane. Again, have that rematch at WrestleMania because they've had one before.
Yeah.
Remember with all the bugs crawling on the mat and stuff like that? That was cheesy. There's one of your down dips in the wave or the ride of this whole feud and story. But I think if they redo it, which they probably want to do, it looks like that way. They're building it to a point where you can't not do it at WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, the slow burning wick and the storytelling and the development again of Alexa Bliss taking her character to another whole new level. She just has really filled that void of not having Bray Wyatt on TV. And I miss Bray Wyatt on TV because I love his character. I think he's a genius when it comes to, playing the crowd and, being that character. And with him gone, she's really stepped up and she's really taken over this feud with Orton, and she's carried it along. She's stringed everybody else along with it. Even though it might be a non-believable storyline, it's still executed really well for what they're actually doing. I think I've seen much worse other programming, other companies and stuff like that try to do the cinematic stuff, the spooky kind of goofy, silly, call it what you want it. But if anyone's going to do it right, it's going to be WWE production with their promo videos and their package videos, and they got the best stars in terms of
best professionals. I don't think anyone can ever complain about WWE's production. It's always like on point. Like as far
beautiful.
as costumes,
that's why they try to get into movies so much.
Yeah, they want to do that.
Their own movies, and they're kind of cheesy and they're never going to be top box office hits. But the production though for these promo packages and just everything they do on WWE programming is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How would you grade tonight's show?
Actually, do you mind if I ask you one question before we get into the rating? Because I got my answer already.
That was one question. You get two now.
Now I'm on 4. AJ Styles, quickly, what do they do from here with him? Because he is so good.
You know what? Because it's kind of close to WrestleMania. We have like 5 weeks to get to WrestleMania. I don't want to see him in like an Andre Memorial Battle Royal. I think that's disrespectful to him. I don't mind AJ Styles coming on Raw and just saying like AJ Styles is going to start off the show, and he's talking about I've been in this industry for how long he's been, 30 years, 25 plus years. I've been in WrestleMania. I've won championships around the world. And as this thing closes down my career, there's one guy I need to face. There's one guy I need to know if I'm better than. And that man is Triple H. I need to see you at WrestleMania, Triple H. I need to fight you. I need to know. And you just have Triple H versus AJ Styles. Don't need too much of a crazy build. Don't need a whole bunch of bells and whistles. I know what they're gonna do. I would like to have
though?
I would like to have AJ Styles go over, but they're not gonna do it. That's the problem with it. And it's gonna be a street
I was
fight.
thinking too.
It'll be a street fight.
I like the match. I like the call out too.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be different. I think it'd be a great WrestleMania match.
Yeah, because what else do you do with them
Triple
at
H
this point?
won hell of a last match.
Yeah.
Like the best one possible, probably. And then, AJ, if he
Yeah.
were to go over, he could retire off of that win, and potentially, in my mind.
Yeah, or AJ talks to that. If I can't beat the Undertaker, I want to beat you. And but it would be, you know what? It would be a street fight though, and I don't want to see AJ. I want to see AJ Styles. I want to see AJ Styles in a wrestling match because Triple H at this point he can't do anything. Like
he can't keep up like he used to.
No.
We're not going to see like Triple H and Michaels. We're not going to see Triple.
It's not 2002 like Triple H. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think would be a good WrestleMania match for Triple H right now? Sorry, AJ Styles right now.
AJ Styles.
Because like there's. You don't want to see him in
one opponent for him, and like they got 5 weeks, right? So this could be from scratch.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to see him versus Ricochet again. Like, I think they'd go 1-on-1.
But they've murdered Ricochet. That's the only. I like Ricochet too, but if they would have built him up, then yeah, Ricochet, AJ Styles at WrestleMania, I'll take it. But Ricochet has lost to every single member of Retribution.
Hey, you just asked me what I'd like to see, not what made sense.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough. That's a lot to ask with WWE. What makes sense?
That's exactly. That's too much to ask.
Yeah,
most of the time.
AJ Styles, Ricochet.
Going back to your final question, though, Jared, if I were to grade this episode of Raw,
yeah,
it didn't really progress anything.
No, it didn't.
It hooked me because of the action in ring, and because of the importance of the action in the ring. Not necessarily in terms of storylines, but just the match quality and the quality of the competitors and the names in those matches. Like we had two, pay-per-view quality matches that could easily headline a pay-per-view, no problem. We had the opening title match, again, the rematch from last week. There was a few hiccups in between. There's a few things I didn't quite get with the whole Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon thing. Yeah. But though that's said and being done, I think I could comfortably give this Raw overall because, again, it didn't really progress anything for my liking. It just put on some good matches, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
A C plus. Maybe a C.
That's fair. Yeah, I could. Yeah. I think if I had to grade it, we did have some good matches between Randy Orton and AJ Styles. We had the match of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which is cool. Really great match. And then of course we just left a few things out for time. The Charlotte Flair was a thing on there for like 15 seconds, and other stuff happened. Nothing that was too like, okay, this is terrible. So I think just for like the effort points, I'll give them a B. It wasn't a great show, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is unwatchable. I want to, shoot my eyes out. So I'll give them a B.
Again, I think I said it last week too. It seems like the first Raw that we reviewed, it seemed like to drag on.
Yeah,
it was
this didn't drag on. You opened up with a really good match, a really good story with The Miz and Bobby Lashley. You ended with Randy Orton and AJ Styles, and you got the Drew McIntyre Sheamus. It's a B. It's satisfactory match.
I'll keep that C plus.
Yeah.
Again, I felt like they had the three important moments: the title match, the Drew and Sheamus bit, and then of course the AJ and Orton mixed in with Alexa and the Fiend storyline.
Yeah.
So those were your key highlights of the show, I think, and everything else was more of less of a clean fill rather than dirty fill. And what I mean by that is
perfect explanation.
It was acceptable to be a filler rather than something that it's just being pushed on us,
right? And
just being a time filler.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that for sure.
Cool.
So
for sure.
Sounds good.
So I stand with the C plus.
Yes, I'm just gonna go to a B because I'm gonna give him an A for an effort, and then just the balance in between, you get like a B. So, well, that does it for our Raw review. Make sure you follow us on social media: Facebook.com/WrestlingNeverSleeps, Instagram.com/WrestlingNeverSleeps, and Twitter @WNS_TV. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, and hit the notification button to get notified when we drop new videos. And we will be back with you guys on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday morning.
Thursday morning for our Dynamite review. Thank you for watching. I am Jared Never Sleeps, signing off for my super duper very handsome co-host Adam Anthony James Martin, the straight shoot in a suit. Thanks for watching. We will see you on Thursday. And of course, it's still real to me, damn it. Good night.